Deflation has been the buzzword that everybody has been using. Now, prices have been going up all across the board. Everything from old used cars to household appliances to houses themselves, and even our favorite breakfast staple, eggs, have gone up in prices. Now, economists have been sounding the alarm about the consequences that this can have. So how this works, at first, generally you hear this in the news, you hear about the increase in prices, people start to complain about these prices. At a certain point, people start to cut back. People start to spend less of their money on things that they did before because they will not accept those prices. And at the point where people start cutting back, that is when economic data is affected. This is where the word recession really comes into play. So at the point where people are cutting back, that means that companies are making less money. If companies are making less money, then they tend to do cutbacks, they tend to lay people off. If people aren't working, if people aren't making money, companies are laying people off. This can really spiral into unwanted territory, and that is the part of the economic cycle that we are currently in. So, it's not a dire situation at the point where you're seeing companies just cut, everywhere, companies closing, bankruptcies, things of that nature. But you are starting to see it more and more in the news. You're starting to see massive layoffs from larger corporations, especially tech companies. Some of these places that may be overhired at certain points, you're starting to see a contraction. In the news, retail sales have been down recently. The job data can be skewed at times, and it can make it seem like things are a little bit better than they are, but retail sales are down, people are spending a little bit less, and companies are doing cutbacks. Economic cycle, that is where we are if you wanted to pinpoint it at this time. Eventually, what this can cause is deflation, and let me make this clear. Deflation is worse than inflation. Again, let me just repeat that for emphasis. Deflation is worse than inflation. Now, companies are in the business of making money. Companies are trying to turn a profit, and they don't just drop their prices for no reason. And if prices of assets, of valuable things that we get are dropping, this is generally not good. Now, when I was younger and I learned, economic data, inflation, deflation in school, and I first heard about deflation, the idea of prices decreasing and things costing less, I kind of liked the idea. But, you get older, you start to understand how things really work. If companies are deflate or are being forced really to deflate or to drop their prices on goods that, have been inflating for so long, more and more layoffs. The amount of people that have lost their jobs, there's job openings at a certain point. If things are contracting so much, you won't see people hiring. You won't see jobs out there for people to get. So the unemployment rate can go up. When unemployment is up, crime is up. It could just spiral again into that unwanted territory. And we're facing a tough situation at this point. The Fed, all the rates that they've raised, where interest rates are currently, the banking crisis, a liquidity crunch that we're seeing, less lending going on out there, stricter lending policies, and also that money being more expensive. It's the point in the economic cycle that we're in right now is not necessarily a bull market, exciting type of part of the cycle. And these things do cycle in and out. It's been this way before, but you have to be careful how you proceed from here, because, the next couple of months, the term mild recession has come out. A mild recession where, these job cuts happen. Some companies are lost, and eventually things shake themselves out and go good. But if you don't play the cards right, and this is more so, for the Fed playing the cards right, for governments playing their cards right, this could really get bad really quickly. If you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me.